Hello, so I'm going to just record this real quick because it's kind of fresh on my mind, and I might not feel the same way later on today, as the day goes by. I might not even feel like saying anything, but I want to talk about something real quick. I talked about how the universe, excuse me, how the universe honors the wicked. I know some people feel like good will prevail, but good people have to do something about the wickedness that they see. They can't sit by and just wonder why people are so bad. And it's just like, well, God's going to take care of them. Which God is going to take care of them? Because their God seems to be winning right now. And I'm going to say this real quick. A lot of the what's called the ego realm, because that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. It's called an ego realm. Yes, that will be removed, but a lot of people who are stuck in their egos are going to be removed right along with it, and that includes the so-called good people, because really the ego realm is not necessarily about good or bad. It's about an attachment to a physical world. It's an attachment to the mind. That's an illusion. The mind is the reason for karma. You detach yourself from the mind, you detach yourself from karma. So it's a lot of good people that's in their ego, because it's not about good and bad. And that's why I don't like saying things like good and bad, because it has nothing to do with it. It's about what you're carrying on you. It could be stuff that could have happened in your childhood that you thought you let go of because you're not thinking or haven't thought about it in 10, 15 years, and it's still somewhere stuck deep in your subconscious. And so that karma is still left. That's what that is. It's attachment. It's attachment to the mind. So it has nothing to do with being a good or bad person. Okay, that's why some people do bad stuff and it seems like nothing ain't ever gonna happen to them, because they understand. Especially people who are practice a lot of esoteric work. They understand that karma is not what folks think it is. But I want to say this. I was looking at somebody's video, and this has nothing to do with her. I just want to kind of talk about this. She talked about how people had some housing. It was a guy that had his own property, and he built a lot of tiny houses in Nevada for people who are homeless, to get them off the street. And in her video, she talked about how the officials didn't approve it because they felt like it was dangerous. And so they went and demolished all the tiny houses and then had the homeless people sleeping back under the bridge and stuff. Is that not dangerous for them to be on the street? How is it dangerous for them to live inside of a home where they have shelter and it's on somebody else's dime? It's this guy's property. Okay, he had them built. Okay, and apparently it wasn't too unsafe, but the officials in Nevada felt like it was necessary to tear down the homes and have them laying under the bridge and on the sidewalks, and where people driving by and trying to walk across the street, and they sitting there, having to pass by them on the street. I'm trying to understand. Well, I'm not trying to understand because I already realize what this is. And people still feel like these folks are going to get something that's going to come back on them, and they're not, because the universe honors those kind of people. I'm just telling you. And the reason why the universe honors those kind of people is because the good people just is waiting for a God or something, some kind of other force to do something about this. The good people are not going to do anything about it. They're going to wait for some God to come back, or some angel or something to come back. But the wickedness, no. See, it seems like people who are wicked seems to be more wise. This is what I noticed. The devil is wiser than God's people. Because I don't know if God cares about his people. I'm sorry. I can't. It's just been going on too long. People keep talking about these prophecies. I'm like, God don't like people like that. And people can argue because they want to have faith, but I'm not a debater. I'm going to go by what I'm observing. God is going to come back and take care of this. It seems like God is a God of suffering. God likes suffering because and this is the he, because it's a he. Masculine energy, I guess, that created the matrix. So that's the God, right? Okay. So how benevolent is that God that created this matrix that have a lot of people trapped in here? How benevolent is that God anyway? Okay. But I'm gonna have to get off in a little bit because I have to do some stuff. But I just want to say that. But yeah, it's like good people and not against the lady who made the upload, I'm just saying in general, good people can't seem to understand why other people are wicked. They can't seem to understand why other people have a cold heart. They can't seem to understand it. And that's why the universe keeps honoring the wicked, because the wicked don't care about your heart. You cross the wicked, whether it's the Jews that's in control, whether it's the Nazis, whether it's Hitler reincarnated, whoever it is, whether it's Putin, they're not going to try to figure out why you have a cold heart. They're going to stop you in your tracks whichever way they can. That's why ain't nothing happening to those folks. They seem to be wiser. The good people, to me, are naive. They're naive. And that's another thing I hate to do. This is what I hate to see brown people do. And then get mad when they finally get worn out. They like to brag on the fact that they can get online and do all this stuff and do all this. And I've been seeing it for years, so I'm not going to talk about anybody in particular. They like to talk about how they do so much for the people for free and they don't ask for nothing. I just do it because I love the people. And then finally you get worn out. And I'm talking about just general stuff, whether it's talking about finances, whether it's talking about esoteric stuff, whatever it is. I've seen a number of brown people that keep taking, I'm not going to call it an L, but they finally get worn out because they don't understand how energy works. It seems like to me they don't get it. It seems like they can break things down and they can explain stuff, but they don't understand how it works for them. You can't be at a deficit. You cannot keep giving yourself to people. Why would nature want you to do that? Every animal or whatever species, and you guys can tell me that's in nature, they understand self-preservation. So why would nature, and I am talking about a recent something I was looking at, why would nature want you to be at a deficit like that? But then all these other animals, they are allowed to have self-preservation, but you're supposed to be at a deficit for the people. I don't agree with that. Something is going on with nature, because all these other animals, they understand self-preservation for some reason. Nature ain't causing them to sacrifice themselves like that. But then a human being got to sacrifice themselves for the people. That don't make no sense to me. Okay? That don't make no sense to me. It's almost like I'm agreeing with that scripture that said you need to be as wise as a serpent and as innocent as a dove. I believe that's what it is. These wicked folks are going to keep getting away with their wickedness because they get it. It's because they get it, and the good people don't seem to get it. They're waiting for some goodness, some angel from the heavens or some God, whoever they think God is. Because this God seems to like seeing people suffer. And this God seems to honor folks who are the billionaires and who's doing all the craziness and who's tearing down the trees. This God, for some reason, seems to honor them. And I'm sorry, this has been going on too long to say it ain't true, but that can be an argument, but I'm not going to debate no way. I'm just going to go by what I see, and other people can go by what they see. But they see the same thing, but they want to hold on to the hope and they want to hold on to positivity. I have to be in reality. I'm sorry. I have to be in reality. I can't be holding on to the positivity, because being positive doesn't mean that you bury your head in the sand. That's not positive to me. I hate that. To me, that's some love and light type stuff that you don't want to see things for what it is. Even though you see it, you don't want to say it because you think it's not positive to tell the truth. Anyway, yeah, I mean, why? And you know what? I'm glad for people like that give of themselves and hours of themselves. But nature ain't going to tell you to put yourself in that kind of deficit, because nature ain't got the other animals doing that stuff. So why they got human beings doing it? That don't make sense to me. Sometimes people choose to sacrifice themselves like that. And then when they finally get worn out, it's everybody else's fault. And I get it, because that's why the universe honors the wicked. Because people do give more money towards the gossip channels. They do donate more to folks who's playing them, who's Jim Jones in them. You know, Jim Jones, I think in Jonestown, had them people drinking that Kool-Aid. People in general seem to give more of their attention and money and love to folks who tear them down. And that's why you see what's happening right now in the world, why the wicked is winning, because you see the people themselves, they prioritize the wicked over the non-wicked. They give more money to the wicked. They give more money to things that don't edify. That's what people do. Okay? People donate all the time to people who are with these gossip channels and all this stuff, but then don't really give a whole lot. And I'm talking about just in general. Don't really give a whole lot to anything that's really going to help them get out of the matrix. That's going to help them get out of the simulation. Because people are about to be trapped for good. Okay? I've seen it. It's like a computer system. I see this app that a lot of people's consciousness is in. It's an app. Like people are like inside of a virtual reality. They don't know it. They don't know it. I know people say holographic world. I saw an app, look like an app on a phone. That a lot of people's consciousness is in. They have no idea because it's like if you look at a cartoon or The Sims, if those characters was actually real inside those Sims, which they just might be, they look like cartoon characters. When I see the world for really, what it really is, this virtual world, and I come outside of what I think is real, it looks cartoony to me. It looks like clay. That's what it looked like. And so that's what those other cartoon characters, that's what they look like. That's what we see when we look at cartoons. Those characters in there might feel like they're real too. And who's to say they might not be real? Because we're all in the movie, right? We're being watched. So who's to say if you're looking at a cartoon character, who's to say that ain't real? But I don't want to go there. I don't want to go too far in that direction. Because we feel like we're real. Some of us are and some of us are not. But anyway, and I'm going to end this with this because I really got to go now. I can't tolerate this world anymore the way it is. I can't tolerate the simulation. Let me tell you something. People, it's being purposely done that people they're doing everything they can to keep people from listening. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing it. I saw it with when the whole George Floyd thing kicked off. I saw where they was trying to close the gate for people to get out. And I'm talking about they trying to make sure them portals, they block them. They make sure people don't get through these portals when they open so they can go to another dimension where it ain't all this hell going on. They purposely trying to trap people. And I see that, but I think where we at now, most folks have to just focus on themselves, not worrying about trying to help somebody else. Even when you learn something new, you still got to spend your time with the information you learn, helping yourself. Because this world, the people, when I say the universe honors the wicked, I'm talking about the people honor the wicked. It's where the people prioritize what's more important to them. So that's the universe right there. It's what people choose. And that creates how the wicked getting away with so much because people don't do anything about it and they love lies. But anyway, so there's nothing else that's allowing the wicked to get away with what they do besides just people not really trying to do anything to get rid of them because they feel like they have no power to get rid of them. And so this stuff keeps going on and going on until a group of people decide to get together and they say they're not going to have it. But the thing is the ego world will perish, and this is called the ego world. But for the people who are stuck in their egos, they're going to perish right along with it. They're not going to be free. Okay, so they got to put the internal work in for themselves to really be free because these entities are doing everything they can to block every portal. Make sure you don't get through the portals. They're going to hold you back. They watching you. Make sure you don't sin. And stuff like they haven't watched on your mind, like they have implants on everybody's, because the mind doesn't belong to you. It belongs to them. It's an illusion anyway, and they are an illusion. Okay, that's why they want to keep you stuck in the mind because they're an illusion. And once you detach from the mind, they disappear anyway because they're not real. They don't exist. They exist only in the ego world, and the ego world is not real. And that's what makes you physical anyway. Okay, but I just don't have any more patience for this. I don't have any more. I can't deal with this anymore. And I've always been trying to do what I can, but it's just, I keep realizing day by day the effort to make sure and that I just stay trapped. Because I see what the entities, and they doing it to other people too, but the other people, many of them probably can't see it like that. Because they have other responsibilities that keep their mind occupied, and they don't realize that they're going to be taken down further into virtual realities where they're just going to be a cartoon character, and then they're going to be completely detached from their souls. And I'm talking about the people who have souls, because everybody don't have one. Everybody's not real people here. But anyway, that's it, and I'll talk to you later.